A Black executive perspective now presents Need to Know with the award-winning hyphenated Dr. Nsenga Burton. Dr. Burton, what do we need to know?
Good afternoon and welcome to Need to Know with Dr. Nsenga Burton. I am she. Today I'm going to be talking to you about international relations. We're having a very interesting time right now with 47 just shouting out ridiculousness. So one of the things that people have been complaining about is that they feel overwhelmed because there's just so much, new information. I would call it misinformation, right? When 47 says he's going to do this, A, B, C, D, and E. Oh, I'm going to stop all the funding. Then they stop the funding. And then a judge says, you can't stop the funding, right? Then he says, I'm going to, put Elon Musk in charge of the Treasury, the Department of Treasury. Elon Musk is not a citizen. He's not an elected official. He really should not have the reach that he has, nor should his minions or lieutenants or whatever they're calling them, depending on the media sources that you're reading, have access to our personal and private matter, particularly because of the security risk when it comes to what? International relations. Coupled with the fact that, Elon is a multi-generational white supremacist. I don't want him to have my information. So I doubt what, the money that they're dealing with, that I'm in the mix anyway. But just in case, I really don't want them to have my information. I say all of that to say, when 47, which I guess he didn't learn from the previous administration, just like we didn't learn from the previous administration, which is why he's sitting here, that you can't just shout out things that you may or may not do when you are president of the United States, because whether you're being serious about it or not, other people are taking it seriously. So what I need you to know is that you have to recognize your actual position in an organization, a family that you hold, because you saying something may land differently than someone else saying it. And certainly when you are in what is supposedly, surely to be formally, but supposedly the most powerful position in the world, president of the United States of America, then you can't just be saying things all willy-nilly and thinking that there isn't going to be any pushback or that other people aren't going to take it seriously. So, for example, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau got caught on a hot mic saying that he really believed what 47 is now saying. I kind of meant it, I kind of not. We're still thinking about it, but rolling Canada into the United States as if Canada is not a sovereign entity that has more guns than us, by the way. So I was like, you think Americans have guns? See Canada. They just don't shoot each other in the same numbers, but that's another story. But yeah, you just can't say that to your neighboring country and think that they're not going to take it seriously when you're the United States of America. And ostensibly, you could make something happen if you really wanted to make it happen, or try, right? We've done that before too. You cannot say things like you're going to clear Gaza and make it a Riviera and a vacation location. And see, I want to also say that people called me an alarmist when I said, if you elect Trump, and I was trying not to say his name because I don't want his people to come after me, but whatever, if they do, it's fine. But if you elect 47, what is going to happen? Because people were so worried about, genocide. When the Biden-Harris administration was working steadily towards a ceasefire agreement, when they're working towards getting the hostages released, right? They're in the midst of that. That's not something you just cut off. That is an important thing when you're thinking about who to vote for. But, Americans, we don't really think too far in the future. We're just like, right now, I want the cost of eggs to go down. And now in some places, they're like $13 a dozen. But I digress. So now that 47 has actually said what many of us were already thinking, like, it'd be nice to have a Trump Tower on Gaza. We can put this is where the Palestinians used to live. We'll give them a historic placard and we'll just go ahead and just develop the area and make it a vacation spot. The Middle East is up in arms. It doesn't matter which country you're talking about, Jordan, Egypt, which is also North Africa, but whatever. But Jordan, Egypt, Iran, everybody is like, Iran is always jumping at the bit to fight us. Like, that's never going away. Jordan is like, wait, what? Okay, hold on. What? Palestine is like, oh, no, we got the ceasefire. Oh, no, we're not doing this. Everybody is having a response to what he's saying, which doesn't even sound reasonable, right? I mean, not to diss the Middle East, but when you think about vacationing, I'm just going to say it's not your top three. I know people do their religious pilgrimages to Israel and stuff like that, and also Palestine and things of that nature. Cool. I know people go to Egypt. Egypt is an amazing place. I've had friends who've lived in Egypt, and my mentor, late great mentor, was Egyptian. All the things. But I still say I feel safe saying that most people, when they're thinking about going on vacation, they're not thinking about going to vacation in the Middle East necessarily. They're usually going for some type of pilgrimage or some type of business affair or some type of educational experience, things of that nature is what we think of. And then sometimes you do, if you have a lot of money, you think about the Middle East as a vacation spot. But for the regular people, not really in our top three. So my point is, what you need to know is that you need to understand what 47 clearly does not. The power that you have in an organization, a relationship, a family, any type of institution is real. And even though, you might say, oh, I'm CEO, but, these are all my people. We're all family. We all know that if you're the CEO and you say you want something done, if you're a good CEO and if people respect you, it's going to get done. Right? That is why when CEOs say things that they shouldn't, or people in high levels say things that they shouldn't, people come down hard on them because they have weight, they have respect, and they have power in the words that they use. And so that's why 47 is so problematic. He was problematic in the first term. He's problematic again because he doesn't seem to realize where he is. This is not Trump Tower. This is not Mar-a-Lago. This is the United States of America, and he's the president of everyone here, not just his supporters. So when you say crazy, offhanded things, particularly when they have ramifications for international relationships, treaties, everything, you have to be mindful of what you say. All right. So I need you to know that whether or not you want to admit it, if you are at the top of the food chain, right, if you're at the top of the org chart, you have power and you have to be mindful of how you use it. And you cannot go around and willy-nilly saying things knowing that there'll be real ramifications, not only for the people in your organization, right, or your country, right, but for your supporters as well. All right. So tune in next week to a Black Executive Perspective podcast, the award-winning Black Executive Perspective podcast. And you'll hear more about Need to Know, but you'll hear from Tony Franklin and crew. And we'll see you soon. Bye.
A Black Executive Perspective.